Hey everybody, another M-Class podcast has happened. It's probably a new year by now.
Maybe.
We'll see when this gets to you. We're recording this in March, so we should have it done.
March the 33rd.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Josh.
Italian Josh.
It's me.
Spaghetti and the meatballs.
SpaghettiOs. I don't know, man.
Well, we're off to a really good start.
I don't know, man.
If you follow along with our podcast, welcome back. I'm glad that all 5 of you are still listening.
Yay!
If you're new to the podcast, then every, month so far, we sit down and we discuss a bit of Star Trek.
We gotta stretch these movies out. There's only like 13 of them.
Well, right now we're just talking about movies, but once we get through that, we'll start talking about Star Trek, the original series.
We're gonna get into the show, which I started watching.
Yeah, I started watching it like way before we were supposed to for this.
Yeah. I started last night. I was like, oh, you know what else I started watching though? I started watching the animated series on Netflix.
I've never seen it.
It's pretty good.
Really?
It's not terrible.
I won some
it.
awards.
It's all right. I'll say that. I mean, it suffers from that like 70s like Scooby-Doo like animation style.
Terrible Hanna-Barbera animation.
Yeah, and one time Chekhov goes into a turbo lift and then it comes out of a different one. I'm just kidding, it doesn't happen.
Chekhov's not even in that series.
He's not. He's like he's a weird alien with an arm coming out of his chest.
Yeah, they didn't have the budget to bring back everybody, so they were just like, who fucking cares about Chekhov?
I think with Sulu they used some of George Takei's like show dialogue.
I don't doubt it.
It feels like it.
But we're not talking about the animated series this time.
Not yet.
We might do it eventually, although
next month.
Next month we'll probably do another fucking movie.
Yeah. Let's do that.
This episode we're doing Star Trek V: The Final Frontier.
Ugh.
Directed by your friend and mine, William Shatner. You can probably tell that neither of us particularly enjoy this movie.
This movie, I'm gonna be honest with everyone, including you, Jeff.
Including me this time.
I've seen this movie probably about 5 or 6 times in my life.
Uh-huh.
I sat down and watched this movie twice. The first time I fell asleep halfway through. And then the second time I skipped around a whole bunch and I was like, wait a minute, where did I leave off? And then I like skipped ahead. And then I was like, wait a minute, let me just skip ahead farther.
Let me just get through all this tedious movie.
Let me get through this shit. Let's get to the end. And like, so I watched it in like bits. I don't think I really missed anything though.
No. It's, the copy I was, watching is, like, the Star Trek Anniversary edition that has all the movies.
Oh, cool.
And, the dialogue is about, like, 30 decibels lower than everything else.
I fucking hate that shit. Oh my god.
It drives me fucking nuts. So I missed some dialogue, but I didn't miss it, if you know what I'm saying.
You didn't miss it. Really, there's not a whole hell of a lot going on.
This movie's directed by William Shatner, who also co-wrote it along with Harv Bennett and some dude named David Lowery.
Lowry, I guess. Harry. Oh my god. Yeah, William Shatner wanted to direct this, right? Because Leonard Nimoy got to direct a bunch.
Yeah, he got to direct 2 fucking movies. It's the Shat's turn.
Now it's Shatner's turn. Oh boy.
And if this movie taught me anything at all about man's relationship to God, it's that William Shatner doesn't fucking understand Star Trek at all.
Yeah, there's a lot of really stupid shit in this movie.
I was talking to somebody about it, and they said, well, you know, at least it's not as bad as Nemesis.
No, Nemesis is better than this.
I don't know if I agree with that, but it made me realize how much these two movies have in common, like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, these actors are getting old. What can we do? Let's do a fucking action movie.
Right, let's fucking pretend they're not old.
Let's do a ridiculous, over-the-top action movie that has jack shit to do with Star Trek.
I brought up the animated series. This movie is like a cartoon, though. Like, this is a fucking cartoon.
There's a moment in this movie where a 3-tittied Catwoman jumps over a bar and has a fist fight with Captain Kirk.
That totally happens.
That's real. I didn't make that up.
It has 3 tits. I don't know. Cats have 6 tits.
You have to be William Shatner to think that type of shit up.
Dude, they wanted that. Man, this movie, man. I don't even know where to begin. I guess we should start at the beginning, but, like, should we?
Just shut this whole fucking episode off.
Should we do like I did the second time I tried to watch it and just skip it? Oh my god.
The end. What a great episode we just did.
It's so good. This movie is terrible. This is by far the worst one out of the original 6.
Oh yeah.
By far.
The funny part about it is, it was the highest grossing opening weekend of any Trek movie up to that point. But the drop-off was so fucking steep.
It's 89, dude. It's 1989. It came out in 1989. And this movie fucking feels like it was made in 1989.
Oh, yeah.
Go watch like, Back to the Future 2 and, like, this movie and, like, even some parts of, like, Bill and Ted are, like, creeping into that era at the beginning of this era where, like, movies just were weird in this year. I don't know why.
Dude, if you watch this movie and then you go watch any terrible sci-fi movie during the same period of time, they line up pretty closely with the whole, like, quasi-religious horse shit thrown in on top of it.
I appreciate the sentiment of this movie. I appreciate the idea of, like, Star Trek not being, about superstition and believing in God or, not believing in God.
Damn, you have just alienated a sizable portion of our viewers.
Because if you're watching Star Trek and you don't think that they're skirting around being like, hey, we're fucking atheists.
Yeah, they're right on the fucking periphery of that. There's even a line in one of the Deep Space Nine episodes where Sisko says, you know that humanity has no gods.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, like, I appreciate it, but there's a TNG episode that's way better than this whole movie. The one where Picard goes to that planet where they make a deal with the devil, like the whole planet.
He meets like oh no, I thought you were talking about the one where they go to the planet with the Mintakans and they think that Picard's God.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a
great episode.
That's a fucking fantastic episode. That one is great. But the one where like the devil is these people, I promised them 1,000 years of peace and I'm here to take over the planet as per our agreement, and like Picard's like, this is a con artist, and he has to like prove that it's like
that
a con artist.
That was a really great episode.
Yeah.
Much better than this steaming pile of horse shit.
Let's just talk about that episode.
This movie is basically like they search for God and then they find a planet and God's on the planet and he's Zordon from the Power Rangers. And he wants a spaceship. Well, we're skipping ahead.
We skipped ahead.
We're joshing this shit right now.
We skipped right ahead. So
the movie begins with a scene that makes you think you put in the wrong DVD. Where
Is Harry and the Hendersons? That came out in 1989, right?
Josh's personal favorite movie.
I used to watch it when I was a kid.
I used to love that movie, man. That's where I first learned about John Lithgow and all he had to offer as a comedian. It begins on planet Nimbus 3 in the neutral zone.
Also known as Mad Max Town.
Yeah. And there's like the evil biker man from Weird Science. It's like his younger brother. Yeah. Digging holes in the fucking desert.
Yeah, it's that guy. It is that guy.
I don't think it is that guy.
I think it is.
He's much too small.
John Larroquette is his name.
Oh, God. Running jokes. Get the t-shirt. I wonder if I'd get sued by John Larroquette if I made like a John Larroquette t-shirt.
I don't think so. John Larroquette's probably gonna like be dead soon anyway. Everyone else is dying.
Everybody else is fucking dead. But this scene looks like it's out of a completely different fucking like series.
Yeah, this movie like takes a lot of liberty with the Star Trek universe, a lot of bad liberties with the Star Trek universe, and Planet Nimbus 3 is definitely one of those bad liberties.
Nimbus 3 doesn't make any sense from, like, any standpoint whatsoever. Like,
it does not make any sense.
Especially, it makes no sense in the Star Trek universe.
It's weird. It's like so this place is a place where it's like a free planet, right? Like nobody owns it. So like all three of the superpowers, the Romulans, Klingons, and Federation, send ambassadors there, but they're shitheads.
They're like the shitty ambassadors. Nobody, like, one of them is a big fat drunk. The other one is, like, I don't know, like a
cigarette-smoking guy from Ninja Turtles 2, the scientists who make the ooze.
He is the secret of the ooze man. I wrote that down. Every time I mention him in my notes, it's the guy from Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah, he's got a weird name. Oh, his name's David Warner. Never mind.
Yeah, what a fucking weird name.
His character's name is St. John Talbot. Okay.
Okay, then.
Everyone went out and ran out to get the St. John Talbot toy from the Star Trek 5.
But they're sent to the planet because they're shitty, right?
It's like Antarctica. Like, you get sent there because you're bad, right?
Yeah.
It's like that old joke.
It makes absolutely no sense that the three superpowers would make a neutral planet that they can all go to or whatever.
It doesn't make any sense.
They haven't worked together up until this point. There's been, like, open war.
Right. They haven't worked together, and there's no reason for them to be on this planet. Like, there's just no reason for it.
There's no resources on the planet. It's a giant fucking desert.
It's not valuable at all.
It's Mad Max planet. There's nothing there.
Yeah, they took away all the guns. Like, so there's no weapons allowed on Nimbus 3. So what do you think happens since it's like, you know...
Dude.
They just make guns. They make their own guns. It's like, what?
Nimbus 3 is rich in at least one resource. Earth horses. Like,
don't they make the horses look weird, though?
No, they're just regular fucking horses.
Oh, that's terrible. No.
But this fucking bald dude's digging holes. We never learn why. Yeah. It's just Cybok comes up to him on a regular fucking horse.
This guy Cybok, the character, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and he gets off his horse and he, like, makes him cry and then he hugs him.
Yeah, he says, let go of all your feelings. Let go of them. And the guy's like, all right.
He's like, no, like, give in to your, like, pain? Show me your pain?
Yeah, show me your pain. Yeah, show me your pain.
And if a bearded dude came up to me and asked me to show me his pain, I'd be all on board.
Especially on Nimbus 3, where the three-titted cat women flow like gold-pressed latinum.
Truly, it is paradise. But Beardy Man pulls his hood off and he's a Vulcan, and this is the first time I realized I was watching a Star Trek movie.
Right, because there's a Star Trek thing in it now.
Yeah. This is like a good 10 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. This scene is about 5 minutes long. It feels like it's about 45 minutes long.
Like, it's shot.
That's the theme of this movie. Scenes that are actually not that long, but they feel like they're 45 minutes long. That's this whole movie.
Yeah, Cybok doing his fucking, like, brain games on Spock and Bones later. It feels like it lasts my whole life.
Yeah, so Cybok he's a Vulcan who has this sort of hypnotic power, right? Where he can, like, he's like a cult leader. He's like definitely a cult leader.
Oh yeah, he gets culty.
Followers by letting their pain, like, of their emotional past, like, go, and I guess it like makes people just follow him. Then I'm not too clear on this Vulcan power that he has.
His power isn't explained, is never seen before, and is never seen again.
Yeah, probably because it was stupid, and then they were like, never again.
There's a lot of stuff in this movie that I feel like they said never again, with like maybe Shatner directing, for instance. But then we get the most important scene in Star Trek history, where Captain Kirk is climbing a mountain.
He's climbing, what is it, El Capitan.
To envelop that mountain.
Oh my god. William Shatner was really into mountain climbing at this point in his life.
Apparently. And it's absolutely not a stunt double on the mountainside at all. He just happens to have completely different hair and body shape, and he's 20 years younger.
Yeah. There's like a helicopter shot of somebody actually climbing a mountain. But then there's a set where William Shatner is climbing, quote, the mountain, and there's a painting behind him. and there's
beautiful.
fake wind.
It's a beautiful painting.
It is very nice. It's a nice painting. I bet they got rid of it. I bet it doesn't exist anymore.
No, everything beautiful is gone.
Nothing
and
gold
dead.
can stay, Pony Boy.
We should just talk about fucking The Outsiders, man.
That's a great book. And
That is a
movie.
great book. And movie, you're right. We could talk about that. It's this is a Star Trek podcast.
On our next podcast, 80s Class Planet. We're talking about 80s movies.
Man, I'd be on board.
Yeah, I would too. Let's do that. Fuck it.
Bones is watching him climb via binoculars, and he's bitching like usual.
He's like, I don't want to be camping out in Yosemite.
How dare you climb a mountain, Jim?
I'm on my vacation. Why did I agree? He's like crazy. It's like over the top. Immediately, Bones is over the top.
Oh yeah, for not really, like you said, it's like they're cartoon characters. He's
They're
like a
cartoon
caricature of himself.
Yeah.
Long before Star Trek 2009,
Yeah.
we had a caricature of all the characters.
This
here.
was 20 years before that, so... Wait. Yeah, 89?
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, 20 years.
That's math. We get... This movie has, like, one big addition to the Star Trek mythos, and that's, sick-ass fucking rocket boots.
Rocket boots!
Spock, of all people, is flying around in sick-ass fucking rocket boots.
He flies up to Captain Kirk, climbing this fucking mountain. He's like 2,000 feet in the air.
And he just bugs him until he falls. Like, he
Yeah,
just
he
keeps
just pisses
talking
him
at
off,
him
yeah.
until he falls.
He's like, I don't think the record is in danger of being broken, Jim. And he's like, I'm just climbing. He says a stupid, like a really dumb line. He's like, well, I'm climbing it because it's there or whatever. Because like, oh god.
Yeah,
You know.
because Spock is gonna understand that.
Right.
And then Spock does the goofiest fucking flip in movie history to fly down and catch fallen Kirk.
You can tell that belt he's wearing is a harness for the rope swing that he's attached to that they had to edit out.
Why? Why is this scene in this movie?
Dude, it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for humanity. And like, it's a really sad metaphor, but
Have you
sure
ever
is
seen the Fall on Your Sword remix of the interview with Shatner about that scene?
No, I've never seen it.
Dude, that's what I was referencing earlier when I said to hug the mountain.
Oh, is that what he said?
Envelop that mountain.
Oh my god.
Why do I climb the mountain? Because I'm in love. I'll have to show it to you when we're done.
Oh my god, Shatner.
He's so full of shit. And
Yeah,
it comes through in this movie like sparkling diamonds in the shit
Yeah.
every now and then.
Yeah.
You can just see exactly where this came out of Shatner's mind.
Oh my god.
But after that scene's over, we return to Nimbus 3 in Paradise City.
It's named
Where
after
the grass
the Guns
is
N'
green
Roses song.
and the girls are pretty.
And the girls have 3 titty. I just thought of that. I didn't write that down, I swear to God.
Oh my god. That's why they pay you the big podcast. Bucks.
That's right. That's why I'm poor as fuck.
But it goes back to Paradise City and the Star Wars Cantina scene happens.
It does.
And we're introduced to the central character of the story, the cat lady with 3 tits.
I just spit everywhere. Because it's true. It's true.
And I have it written here, the doctor from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, is in a room with the Klingon consul. And
Yeah.
a Romulan lady comes in.
A Romulan lady with the coolest haircut ever.
Yeah, I have these two with a pretty lady who has tall hair.
She got real big hair.
I didn't know she was supposed to be a Romulan until somebody
Yeah.
called her one, because she's wearing, like, gold shit over her pointy ears.
Yeah, they didn't really know what to do with Romulans in, like, this part of Star Trek. Like, they didn't really know how to deal with them. And, like, at this part in history, the Romulans, like, aren't around a lot. Like, they're real weirdos, and, like, they hide within their own borders for, like, a long time. Like, they're super secretive, and, like, Romulans don't just go out and do shit for the most part. But
There's
I guess
not really that many Romulan episodes in the original series, even, for it seeming like Romulans are such an original series thing.
yeah.
You get a lot more of them in TNG than you get them anywhere else.
Yeah, TNG is when they kind of they're kind of like North Korea. Like, think of them like, but they're North Korea with like super technology.
Yeah.
So they hide a lot. They're real secretive.
They're like North Korea if North Korea wore warm downy blankets for their costumes.
And had real tall hair. But I guess it makes sense that they have an ambassador to places, because they do need to like communicate, with. But it doesn't make sense that they're on Nimbus 3 doing this.
Why
shit.
would they have founded this planet? What would they have to gain?
It would have been a monumental feat of like politics for them to even found this planet. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I mean, the Next Generation outright says that there hasn't been any contact with Romulans for ages, like long before this movie would have happened.
I think after the 2311 Treaty of Alderaan, they go into hiding for like...
Look at this fucking nerd.
Like,
Just bringing up treaties and shit.
There you go. I know my Treaty of Alderaan. So like they're pretty secretive before that, but that's like sort of the last time the Federation sees them for like 50 years or so.
Yeah, so
And
that was
then,
after this, but
Yeah.
still, like, you feel like somebody would have mentioned, our peoples have worked together before. We founded the Nimbus 3 planet.
Right, remember Nimbus 3, that good old time?
Yeah, remember how our three cultures came together to found a shithole in the middle of nowhere that had nothing on it?
A fucking dirt ball in the middle of nowhere.
But while tall hair Romulan is conducting her business meeting there, at this point in my notes, I didn't know his name was Cybok, or I didn't remember, so I was calling him the Jolly Vulcan.
Yeah, he's kind of jolly. He's real charismatic.
Yeah, the Jolly Vulcan militia of sand people break into Paradise City and capture the representatives.
See, I don't remember this part because I don't care about it.
Well, I don't care either, but we gotta put something in the show. We gotta talk about something.
Well, this is a good time to take a break.
Shit.
When we come back, we'll talk more about the thing I don't remember.
This is gonna be a good episode. We'll be right back.
From a relaxing vacation on Earth
Greetings, Captain. I do not think you realize the gravity of your situation.
to the most perilous reaches of space. Only one crew dare travel where no man has ever gone before.
We'll need all the power you can muster, mister.
And we're back.
What are we talking about, Jeff?
We're talking about the Sand People.
They bust in to Paradise City.
Yeah, they come, like, charging in or whatever, and they have, like, regular fucking guns. Like,
Yeah,
they
they have
don't
guns.
have phasers, or they don't even have lasers. They've gone back in time, like, 500 years of technology and just have guns.
It's Mad Max. Somebody watched Mad Max and was like, or like Thunderdome, and was like, we need this.
I guess.
And then they put it in the movie.
It's
That's
like,
exactly what
this'll
happened.
fit in Star Trek, right?
Like, you would think it would be easier to make, like, a phaser or an energy weapon in this world than it would be to... I mean, like, maybe not, because, like, guns are really primitive, but,
It
like...
would be like the difference between, like, if we had a bunch of, like, fucking spare parts and shit laying around, right?
Yeah.
You could either make a shitty version of a modern gun, or a shitty version of, like, a flintlock pistol. Which one are you gonna go for?
Oh, yeah, I mean, the flintlock, because I love reloading. I'm big into reloading, and with a gun like that, you always have to reload it.
Yeah. What is the firing rate on that? Like, a machine gun's, like, 60 rounds a minute, and
I think
spray,
the
and, like, a flintlock is, like, 1 round an hour?
It's, I do know a little bit about history, and I believe the fastest somebody ever did it was, like, 3 rounds a minute.
Damn. That's
Which is
impressive.
Really slow, but impressive if you're
Yeah.
in 1860.
That guy was the fastest gun on Earth at some
That was a
point.
guy now doing it, because they can't, they don't know, you know.
Yeah.
It's just some dude trying it now.
I guess there weren't people standing around with fucking pocket watches. And
No.
go.
No, they had better things to do, like shoot their brothers.
If only today was like that.
Right? It might be. We might be getting there.
Pretty soon. But anyway, we return to Space Dock. These movies are real fucking big on Space Dock, man.
They love ESD, man. ESD is like a character in these movies.
Yeah, I love ESD too.
ESD is awesome.
The Earth Space Dock is fucking sick. I love
It's
it.
huge.
And Scotty's working on the new Enterprise A, even though nobody calls it that.
Yeah, they just
call it the new Enterprise.
And it's all fucked up. It's all busted. It's
just like in every movie. Like,
Yeah,
the
man.
Enterprise is always fucked in all of these movies.
They don't have like just crews of people that just fix everything. Like that's
No.
all you do is fix stuff.
You send a fucking bloated Scotsman around to do everything himself. That's how you work.
You made fucking what's his name? Who plays Scotty? Fucking what's his name?
James Doohan.
James Doohan. You make him lay on the ground. The guy is like literally 4 years away from death at this point. Like James Doohan dies in like 1996 or
That's
something.
pretty
like that.
true.
He died in 2005. Okay, sorry. But
1990, 2005.
But he's up there, and he's laying on the floor with like a space wrench, and he's like, "Fuck it, this shit sucks."
He does a bit of shtick later, which is fucking perfect for a Star Trek movie.
Oh my god, I can't wait! I know exactly what you're talking about.
And when I say that a lot of this stuff doesn't fit well in a Star Trek movie, you can literally do anything in a Star Trek movie. Anything. Like, there are parts in the original series where they go to a planet where it's like gangster planet, and it's the 1920s there and shit. Who cares?
Right.
You just have to have your characters acting like Star Trek characters in this setting. That's it.
Right. That's all you need to do. But once you get away from that, characters acting like Star Trek characters, it falls apart really quick.
But apparently, like, Scotty and Uhura are like dating.
Yeah, they kind of allude to that a bit, or allude to like an attraction between the two of them, which is weird. Which is weird.
They drop that shit like immediately after this movie. It never gets brought up again.
Yeah.
Of course, there's only one more movie, so
Yeah, and it's a serious one where nobody has time to.
yeah. I guess they could have mentioned it in Generations.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I don't want to see that one either. So
It's all downhill from 6, dude.
yeah, no kidding.
With a brief respite at 8, I'll say.
Red alert goes up, and it turns out to be a real red alert. And they're like, well, the Enterprise is a piece of flying shit at this point. But we're going to send you out.
Yeah.
And no one asked why.
Starfleet
No one
literally
tells
has
them why.
thousands of ships, but we're gonna send the Enterprise because the Admiral's like, I need you guys. That's what he says. He's like,
Yeah.
I need you. I need
He's like,
James Kirk.
I need James Kirk. And,
Because he directed the movie.
yeah,
and
William
he
Shatner
wrote me to say
wrote
this.
that line.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of that. I'll be referencing some of that later on. We get like a little bit of shtick again with Sulu and Chekhov are lost and
In the woods. They're also on vacation. We're back on Earth at Yosemite. That's where they're on vacation, right?
I guess
So
they're all
apparently
Yosemite.
you go on vacation with people you work with. I don't, but
Yeah, I don't either. I've only had my new job for like 3 weeks, but fuck all of them. I'm not going on vacation with
yeah,
them.
when they go home, that's when I don't have to see them anymore.
Exactly.
And it's a good deal we have.
I take the money and leave. That's
Yeah,
how
take the
this
money and
operation
run.
works.
Ooh, take the money and run.
I love this song.
It's a good song.
We're gonna have to pay royalties for that shit now.
I sang it too bad. They won't know. What happens then? I don't remember. They
That's it. They're lost,
get
and then like they get called to come back, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want people to know I'm lost, so let's pretend we're in a blizzard."
Yeah, they pretend it's snowing even though like they can literally look down and see if there's weather over where they are.
What is this? Why is this in the movie? I keep asking that,
It's-
but it's
it's
a legitimate
so-
question.
It's so goofy. It's just so stupid.
And
It doesn't make sense.
we go back to Spock, Kirk, and Bones. They're camping together.
They're eating now, right?
Yeah, they're eating beans.
Yeah, which is what you do when you go camping in America.
Yeah. And Spock likes them, and Kirk and Bones are kind of like a dick to him about it.
Yeah, they're kind of like a big dick to him about this whole scene.
Yeah, and like they're like, oh, this becomes important later, but they're like, weren't you scared when you were falling to your death or whatever? And Kirk's like, no, I wouldn't die because you guys are with me, and I know I'm gonna die alone.
Yeah.
And just like in real life, that like kills the fucking conversation.
Right.
Because why? Who says that?
Because it's very dark. I don't mind it because I think it's very Han Solo-y, you know?
Yeah.
And Kirk's kind of Han Solo-y, but like, it doesn't fit in this movie because up until this point, this movie is a goddamn cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
But he knows he'll die alone under a bridge 100 years later.
Spoiler!
Then they sing "Row, row, row your boat" around the campfire, but Spock doesn't get it because he's a fucking alien.
Yeah, nobody knows "Row, row, row your boat." I hate that they sing "Row, row, row your boat." I hate it. I get it. I think it's a metaphor. I think this is Shatner being like, we need like a song that's kind of a metaphor here, right? So,
Yeah.
"Row, row, row your boat" is like, you know, about going down the stream. Maybe it's them going down the stream of time together. Who knows? Life. The stream of life.
And it's like life is but a dream or whatever,
Right.
and that gets referenced later in like the most clunky fucking piece of dialogue that's ever
Yes.
been written.
Yes.
Jesus. But Bones is a dickhole to Spock again, and they go to bed.
Yeah, all this shit up until this point in the podcast, this is like the first 45 minutes of the movie. Like,
Yeah.
literally nothing happens.
happens. Yeah.
It sucks, dude. And you're like, let's go!
And like, you realize that at 45-minute point in the motion picture, more has happened.
Which is absurd.
That's nuts.
At least the ship is flying at this point in the motion picture.
Jesus.
In this movie, it's like, we're on vacation. Oh, okay.
Where were we? Oh fuck! The Klingons. The Klingons like are shooting space junk.
They shoot Voyager 1, or I guess it's not Voyager 1 because that's Voyager.
No.
I guess it's
Yeah.
Voyager 2? I think it's supposed to be Voyager 2.
Yeah, and the dude's name is Captain Claw. Well, but it's two A's. It's Claw, but it's two A's.
Cloud. I forget about the Klingons in this movie. Like,
Because they're
every
pointless.
time. There's literally no point to them being in this.
They're more pointless than Christopher Lloyd as a Klingon, and that's saying something.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But he shoots an old satellite, and fucking Claymation goes nuts.
High frame rate. It's like that torpedo hits that fucking satellite, and it's like 17 frames ahead get jumped in the movie. You're like, whoa! It flies at you at like warp 7.
It's
Crazy.
like, why is that scene Claymation and nothing else in the movie is?
I don't know, man. Why?
They plot a course for Nimbus 3 because Captain Claw knows that there's going to be a Federation ship there. And he's a Klingon, so Klingons do battle good.
Yeah, they want to. Why do they want this? I don't remember. I literally have no idea.
Because they're warriors, and it's a great battle. Like, whoever defeats Kirk is going to be the greatest warrior because Shatner wrote the movie.
That old chestnut, huh?
Yeah.
We're back to this again. Oh my god. He's not related to Christopher Lloyd at all?
No, he's
He
a
should
completely
be.
different Klingon.
He should be like his son or something.
Nah, that'd be dumber.
You think?
I think so.
At least there would be a reason.
I don't know. There's no reason at all for him to be in this movie.
I
is the
know!
thing.
I know! It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Where it goes back to our heroes. Our heroes are on a shuttlecraft and they get picked up first, but whatever, who cares? And then they fly the shuttlecraft up to the new Enterprise.
Yeah,
And
they go into the shuttle bay. We get to see the shuttle bay.
Yeah, you get to which looks like a warehouse.
It's real plain and boring in there.
It actually has like a metal shutter door at the end of it, like it's a warehouse.
Like the old Enterprise, like was like a goofy looking like door, sorta like a garage door.
Yeah, it's like the big two doors. They
Yeah.
just open sideways, and this one's got like a fucking metal shutter, like you put over your bakery. so that nobody steals your baked goods in the night.
The clerks, whatever the
I
quick
assure
stop.
you that we're open.
Yeah.
The doors don't even work on this fucking ship, and they have to take it out because I need James T. Kirk. And for real, James T. Kirk is wearing a "Go Climb a Rock" graphic T-shirt.
The shirt,
with
man.
jeans.
Yeah, he's big into rock climbing.
It is the year 23 something, and he's wearing fucking jeans and a graphic tee.
If Think Geek wants to make if Think Geek wants to make a few extra dollars, they should make a "Go Climb a Rock" shirt.
I'm sure you could buy that in your fucking movie theater gift shop after you watch that movie.
And Jeff and I will buy one, and that's it.
Dude, I'll make a "Go Climb a Rock" shirt.
It's like Shatner was like, I don't think they get enough how much I like rock climbing.
Dude,
Can I wear this shirt?
Love it.
Oh my god, this movie is so dumb.
And everybody hates Klingons.
Yeah.
And that's not written like... The thing about this movie is that the Klingon hate is not written like, oh, well, we're going to form an alliance in the next movie or whatever. It's written like, man, those Klingons are literally the worst.
Yeah.
I'm being 100% serious with no subtext whatsoever.
Yeah, it's comical. It's like, again, it's like a caricature of like this world. Like, yeah, they don't like the Klingons, but they're like enemies with the Klingons. Like, they're not. Things aren't great between the Klingons and the Federation.
Klingon racists or whatever.
Right.
Like, if you watch like the Day of the Dove, they're not like racist against Klingons or anything. They're just their enemies.
Yeah,
and there's a begrudging respect.
They're the Russians.
Yeah,
the Federation is America. The Klingons are the Russians.
Absolutely.
And apparently the Romulans are the Chinese. I don't know.
I don't know. There is like a great opportunity at this period of time to do a Russia and U.S. relationship type movie, which is what 6 is.
Yes.
Instead of doing that with 5, it's a movie about Mad Max.
Yeah, but they couldn't do 6 yet, though, because 6 was right when Russia was collapsing, so it's like perfect. And like we didn't know that was happening yet. Like 89 is the year the Berlin Wall fell. So after this, they were like, okay, we got it. We got a good movie idea, finally.
Yeah. And this movie isn't really about Mad Max. It's just that's what this point is. This movie is about
nothing.
It's supposed to be about like man's relationship to God.
Yeah, and
but
himself.
It falls completely flat on his fucking face.
There's a couple things going on, and they don't mesh right. Like there's something there with like this movie. Like there is something there. It's not completely devoid of like anything, but it misses big time. So that and it's a cartoon.
Yeah, it's just not done well at all. Like it reaches for a lofty goal and comes up completely short.
Yeah. It's a whole lot of nothing for a whole little payoff, that's for sure.
But in the next scene,
yeah, where do they go? Like they're on the ship, and then Cybok like gets the ship.
Well, no, they did you just jump around when you watched this,
dude? I don't fucking remember any of the stupid shit. Like I don't remember it.
They watch a terrible video message where Cybok is telling them he has the hostages and like he doesn't want to hurt them, but he will or whatever. And Spock recognizes it's his brother immediately, but doesn't tell anybody for dramatic tension.
You figured you'd keep that one a secret.
For literally no reason. What
no one
possible
will find
reason could he have?
There isn't.
And then, like, you think you're gonna learn why he kept it to himself, right?
Yeah, but you
never do.
Yeah, Spock's just a dick in this movie.
And then the next scene, Spock is like telling Kirk and Bones that he knows this guy, but he conveniently leaves out the fact that it's his brother.
Yeah, we'll save that for later.
That'll be more dramatic if we reveal it like offhandedly in a fucking comedy scene.
Except when it is revealed, Captain Kirk literally goes. He does like a 7 take. He's like, what?
Yeah. The Enterprise goes to Nimbus 3. And
I'm just
they
listening
receive
to
a
you.
transmission.
Painfully. You're just like, painfully.
I'm trying to figure out like where the fuck this movie went from here, because my notes are a little muddled because the movie is a little muddled.
Yeah, I don't remember. I swear to God, I've seen this movie like 6 times. I don't remember what happened.
Oh, they go to the planet and they pretend like Chekhov is the captain while Kirk and Spock sneak down to the planet with a crew and Uhura.
Okay.
And like they can't beam the hostages out because their transporter's fucked up.
Right.
But this begs the question, was Cybok like completely unprepared for somebody to just show up and beam them out?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's kind of like the, what's that James Bond movie where the guy's like waiting for the train, like the newer one.
Oh,
it's like, not Spectre, the one before that.
Quantum of Solace?
No, the one after that.
The one
Skyfall.
Skyfall.
It's like the villain like just knows things and it doesn't make any sense. Like
yeah,
why,
absolutely.
Like why did he do that? That doesn't make. Why did he know that was gonna be that way?
Yeah, like how did Cybok know that their transporter was gonna be fucked up so they couldn't just show up and beam the hostages out?
Right, just do whatever they want with the transporter.
And
I don't know.
Maybe if you think about it for a little while, like the hostages turn out to be brainwashed later, so maybe he thought if they got beamed out, they could take over the ship for him.
Yeah, maybe.
But I shouldn't have to write this movie myself.
Right, that's a leap of logic that's not written. So how
It
how
doesn't
do you
really
know?
matter though, because that's not what happens. They show up with a busted transporter, so that they have to take a transport down. They have to.
Well, Jeff, they
shuttlecraft
built
down.
that shuttlecraft set. They got to use it.
It's a cool shuttlecraft. There
Little
is
dinky.
some terrible special effects when the shuttlecraft lands on the planet. Some of the worst from
Yeah,
that
it's pretty
time
bad.
period. It's so bad. And then, like, the most awkward scene happens where they're like, we need to get those Earth horses on this alien planet. So we're going to have Uhura do a sexy fan dance.
The fan dance.
And sing at them.
The fan dance.
And you fucking know that, like, William Shatner was writing this with, like, and then Nichelle finally takes her fucking clothes off because she wouldn't do it with me.
We finally get to see them titties. That's what it says in the script. I didn't make that up. It says that.
It's, like, awkward. It's so awkward.
It's stupid. It's a fucking cartoon, man. It's a fucking cartoon.
This is like a plan from Scooby-Doo where they'd be like, all right,
Yes.
Daphne, you need to get out there with a fan and dance to
Right.
get them to get the fucking, like...
Scooby, you pretend to be the captain of the Enterprise. Okay.
I can't remember the name of any of the monsters from Scooby-Doo.
Franken robot. I don't know. Old
Sure.
Man Perkins. I don't
Old
know.
Man Perkins.
I don't fucking know.
Fucking, it
Old
doesn't
Man
matter.
Applebee's.
Yeah. No, they named the restaurant after him later.
Yeah, because it was haunted. Oh my
You're
God.
writing a much more interesting story than this movie, so keep
It's not
going.
difficult. It really is not. At this part.
So they do like they trap the horseman and they fucking, I guess they kill him or they leave him out in the desert to die, one or the other.
One or the other. One of them's worse.
And they steal the horses and ride into the city.
Yeah, because they had to land far away, right?
Yeah, and they go into the city and are immediately caught. And
Brilliant.
the villains pull out a Super Nintendo Super Scope and they shoot at Sulu.
Yeah.
And they all have like regular fucking guns in this Star Trek movie.
Which, sure.
Dude, I wanna read what I have on the page here. There's a chain gun. What the shit? Kirk does a lot of punching and judo flipping. Spock Vulcan neck pinches a horse.
Dude, he fucking Conan Barbarians at horse. I forgot about that. Dude, somebody was like, what are some cool things from movies? Let's put them in this movie.
Dude, what if Spock Vulcan neck pinches a fucking horse?
They're like, do it. Fucking do it.
Kirk then fights a 3-titted cat lady in the bar from Star Wars.
Yep.
And that goes on forever, it feels like.
Dude. So far, I feel like we've talked about 5% of this movie.
We're not even at the part where Cybok has control of the ship yet.
Oh my god. Alright. Well, let's take a break, and then we'll get to that part.
We might skip around in this movie a little bit.
It's like, I don't know, it feels like this is taking a long time. I don't think it is really, but it feels like it.
Alright, we'll be right back with probably at a different point in this movie.
On a desolate planet, a renegade Vulcan seeks ultimate knowledge.
To find it, you'll need a starship.
And he will stop at nothing to get it.
I dreamt that a madman had taken over the Enterprise.
You look like you've just seen a ghost.
Perhaps I have, Captain. Our destination is the planet Shakari, Eden, at the center of the galaxy.
The center of the galaxy can't be reached.
If you ask me, and you haven't, I think this is a terrible idea. We're bound to bump into the Klingons.
And we're back again.
Yes.
And who cares where we were?
Yeah, fuck it.
There's a big fight scene, and it turns out that the hostages are, they're like
trick.
brainwashed.
It's all a trick. They're in a cult now. Everyone's in the Cybok cult.
Yeah, Cybok takes control of the Enterprise, and Spock won't shoot him.
Right.
I actually do want to bring attention to the fact that Kirk says, "Kill him!"
Yeah, he's like, Kirk is like, done. He's like, I've been through 5 of these movies, and if we could just shoot the bad guy right away, that would be really great.
He's pretty fucking bloodthirsty in that scene. He's like, just fucking Spock, kill him! Kill him to death!
Yeah, man. It's crazy. It's not very Star Trek-ish.
No, it's not. And
Like, no stun weapons? Nothing? No,
nothing,
got
just
that?
kill him. Shoot him with the regular gun.
Okay.
And the bird of prey closes in on the Enterprise, and Kirk has to crash land the shuttlecraft that they're piloting back to the Enterprise
Yeah.
under Cybok's control in the fucking Enterprise, like right up the butthole of the Enterprise.
Yeah, they crash right into that butthole. That's where this Dave Matthews Band song "Crash Into Me" came from. That's fact. That's true fact.
I don't know what to say to that, Josh.
I silenced you. That means something.
I was so in awe of that fact.
It's a good fact.
But anyway, like Kirk and Spock and Bones get thrown into the brig, and Kirk yells like all the 20th century profanities he learned in the last movie.
He was like, double dumbass on you, Spock.
Except it's not like fun, friendly, like, I don't understand these words. He's like, I gotta knock you on your ass, you piece of shit.
Yeah, he's pissed, man. He's fucking pissed.
You fucking dumbass. And Spock eventually reveals that Cybok is his brother, and Kirk gets mad.
What?
Is like, why didn't you tell me? And Spock's like, well,
Yeah, there's no reason. There's just no reason.
I didn't tell you because it would be more dramatic now.
I figured I wouldn't tell you in the chance that, you know, you would shoot him and kill him. Maybe if I would have told you, somebody would have brought a fucking stun-setting phaser down with us.
But they get locked in the brig, which is inescapable, and it's too powerful because there are fluorescent light bulbs not touching on the front of it. Cybok brainwashes the crew. The weird thing about that is that right after that scene, like a little bit later on, after Kirk and Spock and Bones have tried to escape and they get caught, Cybok like tries to brainwash them, except Kirk, and they Bones and Spock just both decide not to work for Cybok. What does that say about the rest of the crew?
That always bothered me too. Like, so like Cybok like puts you into this like dream state, right, where like you were experiencing like a painful memory, and this part of the movie is really good with like the bones part with his dad.
Oh yeah, it's actually like really heartfelt as fuck, and like
Yeah.
it hits you really hard.
It's really well done, and it's a really cool like insight into Bones, you know, like that
Yeah.
you don't get usually, like how he like euthanizes his own father because he was dying, and how it fucked him up for like ever.
Yeah, it fucked him up, especially because they created a cure for what was killing him like a
Yeah.
month later.
Yeah, it's fucked up, dude.
It's so fucked up. It's way too dark and heavy for this movie. This
Yeah, it's
farce.
super dark. It's super dark. But then then like Bones is like, okay, fine, like I don't feel that pain anymore. And then Cybok is like, we're going to the bridge because we got to go to the barrier, right? Which is like,
Yeah, the barrier at the center of the universe, which we had not heard about. Up
right,
until
which
this
is
point.
complete bullshit and bullshit. It's just bullshit. It's a fucking bullshit. It's bullshit.
There's no science behind it either.
Yeah.
Star Trek has always at least tried to fake science behind things.
Star Trek, and especially at this point in time, had a real, not like a little bit after, like a little bit before this rather, it had a hard time deciding how big it wanted to be, right? Like
Yeah.
in the original series, they're like, we fly around the galaxy. And like the entire galaxy, but like they realized for it to be like a political drama, there need to be boundaries for these places.
Yeah.
So they shrank the Federation down into just one quadrant of the galaxy. But in this movie, they're like, fuck it, center of the universe. Like,
Yeah, we're going
what?
to the center of the universe.
Like, what the shit? All right,
I guess, whatever. But
fine, right?
it's like right
fine.
before the scene where we get this like really deep, heartfelt, like dark
Yeah.
look into Bones' past.
Yeah.
Scotty bangs his noggin.
Scotty. Oh my god. This movie, man. At this point, I'm checked out every time. At this point, I'm like, it's
Yeah.
gonna be over soon, I think. So.
And no, right before that, actually, that happens, and then you get the scene where like Spock brings out the rocket boots again, right?
He busts them out again, right?
And
Yeah.
they fly up the shaft like holding on to Spock and almost hit the ceiling. It's like a fucking Marx Brothers gag.
Yeah, that's like
almost.
Willy Wonka. They drink too much fizzy lifting drink, and they almost hit the fan.
And then Bones had to euthanize his father because he was suffering so much.
Yeah. And then Cybok's like, Bones, Spock, you're with me on the bridge. And they're like, no. And it's like,
Yeah.
but why did everybody else?
Who wrote this movie? T.J. Hooker?
Who wrote this movie? Rescue 911?
Who wrote this movie? The Hotels.com guy?
Oh, God, I don't know any other more things that he said. Who wrote this movie? Boston Legal?
That was his name in it. First name Boston, last name Legal.
It's me, Boston Legal. Oh, my God.
Anyway, they get out an emergency signal or whatever. It's intercepted by the Klingons. Remember them?
They're back, apparently.
And Captain Claw, which is his real name, decides to follow the Enterprise into the Great Barrier. And the funny thing about that scene, though, where Cybok is like brainwashing Bones and Spock, is that Cybok says he wants Kirk's respect more than anything.
Yeah.
And I wrote, he wants Kirk to respect him more than he wants to meet God because William Shatner wrote this movie himself.
Yep, because William Shatner is God. William Shatner, narcissist aficionado.
Anyway, everybody's like, fucking like, we're going to Eden. We're going to space version of Eden. We're going to Klingon version of Eden. Whatever.
Yeah, they all say their own, like, culture's mythological version of what it was, right?
Yeah. There is
Mythological. I would like to point out mythology. It's mythology.
Yeah, fuck it. It is. I'm not even gonna pretend. Anyway, I keep going back to the mind control shit with Bones and Spock because there was a lot I wanted to talk about it, so I'm just throwing
Yeah,
shit
no,
in
yeah, go,
as I go
fuck it.
along. But there's a really fucking great scene where we see Spock's birth.
Yes.
And Spock gets handed to Sarek, and Sarek, like, disgustedly says,
Yeah.
so human.
It's really good, right? Like, that's
Yeah.
really good.
Who directed that shit?
Like, that is great. But, like, that's, like, two instances that happen immediately after one another. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
Yeah. So they go through the barrier, right?
Yeah,
The great
which no
barrier
one
at the
has
center
ever
of the
come out
universe.
of or whatever the
No.
fuck.
And there's some cool ass like food dye being dropped into water special effects.
Nice.
It looks great. And they see a glowing world or whatever, and there's some fucking terrible ass corny dialogue with Kirk saying like, you know, life is a dream if that's really God.
Right.
And then like it pans down to the thing on the wheel that says to boldly go where no man's gone before.
Yeah, they have a like a
puked.
ship wheel, right? It's like an old ship wheel, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, they needed to hit that one home again.
Yeah, you need to know that this is a spaceship, like a fucking sea ship.
Right. It's like, okay.
Anyway.
And then at this point, something happens.
Well, no, they realize Kirk realizes he wants to go down on the planet because he's Kirk. And
He's curious, right? Now
curious.
he's in. Yeah.
And they take a shuttlecraft down there, and Kirk wants to take a gun to meet God, but Cybok ain't bout it like he is. Makes him stow his gun. Everything on Eden looks mysteriously like the Southern California desert, but
Because
pink.
that's all they could drive there real quick, so they figured, fuck it. That's weird that Vulcan looks like that too,
Yeah, it's strange, isn't
but
it?
orange.
It's weird how planets just seem to be tinted Southern California.
Weird.
They keep doing the slow pan in on screens that say the Klingon bird of prey is following them, but no one ever notices.
Apparently they don't care.
Fuck it. They're about to meet God himself.
What a mess up. What a mistake. Like, because like you can't have them not notice that the Klingons are there, but have the ship notice, right?
Yeah.
Because you could write around that by being like the ship can't see, the sensors don't work in there, kind of like in Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
Like you can do whatever, but like
I mean, shouldn't it be making noise or something?
shouldn't it be telling them? I mean, it's a fucking like robot. The ship's like its own robot, right? Like it just will be like, hey,
It says shit, right? Like
Yeah.
every other time in the movie, it's like bird of prey incoming or whatever.
right, collision core, like collision imminent or whatever. You know what I mean? Like.
Anyway, they go down to the planet and they walk around, and then there's this really awkward scene that's like super true to life but shouldn't be in a movie, where everybody's like really like embarrassed that Cybok was wrong and they don't want to say anything to him.
Yeah, it's yeah, because they can't find it, right? They're like,
Yeah.
where is he? Where's God?
And then giant stone pillars shoot up and make a rib cage, like humanity. Get
Get
it?
it? Like Adam and Eve. Get it?
Get it? And
Did you get it yet?
It makes a hole, and everything turns into a really dark set where you can almost make out the walls.
Yeah, you can almost see like where the set ends. Definitely.
Then there's a cool laser light show at the end of it,
And they play Laser Floyd.
and and then a booming voice comes out, and at that point I'd forgotten what happens after that, so I was like, well, that's a decent way to get around showing like a deity or whatever, like have a light show that speaks. But
Right, it's
then-
just an entity that doesn't have a shape. Like, fuck it.
But then fucking Zeus comes out of it.
Yeah, Zeus Santa Claus comes out of
He
it.
comes out and he's a big floating head. Like I said, he's Zordon from the Power Rangers.
Yeah, man, with a sweet beard.
Giant fake ass beard.
Dude, it looks like I think they were going for like a Da Vinci-esque kind of thing,
Yeah.
but it does not. Oh, look
If
good.
it was real, they went out of their way to make that shit look not real.
I think that was a person in a fake beard. I think that's what
Yeah.
it really is.
And Zeus is like, I want to take a starship so I could leave the Great Barrier. And
Yeah.
there's that classic line, what does God need with a starship?
Yeah.
And then the other classic line, you don't ask the Almighty for an ID.
Right. But yeah, so like at this point, like Kirk is like, hold on, wait up, hold up.
Yeah, wait a second
Yeah.
here. You trying to trick me, God?
Yeah.
And God gets pissed and shoots his ballin' ass heat vision at Kirk. And then it's Spock. And Cybok says the weirdest fucking line at this point. He's like, "Why are you hurting my friends?"
Yeah, Cybok, like, turns into immediately a good guy.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't ever, like, a fully bad guy. He was just a nut job.
Right, like, he's not...
Why? Yeah. You're not friends. You kidnapped these people.
You stole their ship and made them go into this great barrier reef where nobody comes back from. It's
your
man,
guys shot machine guns at them.
We're not friends, dude.
And the being's just like, yeah, I'm a prisoner on this planet, and I want to use your starship to escape. And if you don't do it, I'm gonna kill all of you.
Yeah. And then Cybok's like, no god of whatever the Vulcan heaven is would do this or whatever.
Yeah, and so Cybok jumps in and starts like fucking like turnbuckle wrestling with this motherfucker.
He uses his Vulcan power on him, right? He's like, "Show me your pain," or whatever his catchphrase is.
What a badass catchphrase. Show me your pain.
It would be badass, except that Cybok's like a fucking hippie, a Vulcan hippie, mind you. So like a triple hippie.
Then the Enterprise fires a photon torpedo at God and blowed him up.
That's how God died.
And no one notices the bird of prey still. And Kirk and company try to escape the planet's surface, but fake God won't let them.
Because fake God's like a writhing death god now. It's like screaming.
It's actually like terrifying in the background. And like, whoa.
It's so creepy. When I was little and I watched it, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, no kidding. That's nightmare shit right there.
That's like the noise it makes.
Spock and Bones get beamed up, but they can't beam Kirk up because they don't have enough power.
Right, because the transporters are broken, remember?
Ship's broken. A lot of the fucking problems in these movies are basic contrivances because they had to make the ship broken.
Yeah, they didn't want to spend the time to shoot the ship and make the ship get damaged somehow, right?
What they didn't want to do is use the tools that the characters in Star Trek have available to them because it would make all of these situations pointless.
Yeah, right.
The thing about the Star Trek television show is that they created situations where all of the abilities that the Star Trek crew had weren't good enough, and they had to figure out new ways to do it.
That was the problem. Yeah, the problem was not that they weren't, like, things didn't work. It was that things were beyond their capabilities and powers to fix right away.
Yeah, but in the movies, it's because shit doesn't work.
Yeah, just because we had to leave for a road trip and we didn't check our oil. Like, what?
But Kirk runs around on this planet like Scooby-Doo going between the doors with the monster. And God follows him around all angry.
Mm-hmm.
And when it cuts back to the planet's surface, it's like the fucking Nintendo Virtual Boy. Everything's red.
Yes.
Everything.
It's really weird.
And Klingons show up.
Uh-huh.
And there's like a 4-second scene where Spock has the fat Klingon.
The ambassador. The Klingon ambassador.
Yeah. I forget his name. It has him...
Claude?
No. That's Claw, Captain Claw.
No, this guy's got a K to Cord.
What is with the naming scheme in these movies?
Klingons love K names, kind of like how like Italian moms love the name Anthony.
Damn. Spitting some truth on this podcast tonight.
Anthony, get in here.
Anthony. What are you bringing them dirty neighborhood boys over here? I've known an Italian or two in my day.
Yep.
But so the Klingons show up on the planet. They don't like come down onto the planet. They like come up over a ridge.
Yeah, I don't know what it's dramatic, that's for sure.
Yeah, but anyway, they shoot like phaser guns. At
They shoot
God,
the disruptors.
and
They're
they, yeah, they shoot their
disruptors.
disruptors and they kill fake God.
Fake God dead. Rip.
For realsies this time.
He's for real dead. Yes.
And then Kirk gets beamed onto the ship. Like he's like, "You Klingon bastards! I'm
Yeah, he's ready to fight.
taking our fucking jobs." And they beam him on board the ship. And the ambassador's there, and he forces Captain Claw to apologize like he's a teenager that got in trouble.
Yeah, he fucking scolds him.
And Spock was the gunner who shot Space God to death.
Thank Space God, he's dead.
And Kirk wants to make out, but Spock says not in front of the Klingons.
Yeah, Kirk's like really like emotional. He's like really like ready to hug him.
Yeah.
And I think that's the end of the movie.
No, there's a big party at the end, right? Because there's a celebration.
Yes.
Everybody's having a good time. Sulu and Chekhov, I think, are like following the muscle Klingon girl around,
Yeah.
staring at her ass.
Yeah, they wanna bite her cheek, which means fuck.
Yeah. And Spock and Bones speculate on God existing in the universe, and Kirk says some super corny shit about God being in your heart.
Yeah, maybe he exists in the human heart or something like that.
Spock thinks about his dead brother, right? And Kirk says, "I lost a brother once. I was lucky that I got him back," right?
Yeah, he's talking about Spock.
Yeah, what about your actual fucking dead brother? His name was George Kirk Jr. You grew up with him. You saw him die.
We've moved on from that, Jeff.
I mean, I know in the series, George Kirk Jr. was just William Shatner with a mustache. But,
Yeah, he's Thomas Riker, right?
But for fuck's sake, you had an actual brother.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, what a great sentiment though, right? But it's also like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. Written by a guy who didn't pay much attention when he was starring in the show.
This movie is like, there's stuff there. Like there's like a frame there for a movie, sorta. There's like half of a frame.
The movie, we can get into final thoughts because the last part is just the row your boat scene.
Yeah, they go back to Yosemite to have more beans.
Yeah, well, that was a fitting in for the fucking movie.
Yeah. You know what movies want to end on? 3 guys doing a fucking roundabout of fucking row your fucking boat.
This movie's a piece of shit, is the point I've been trying to make for the 6 hours we've been doing this podcast.
Do you know what song The Matrix ends on? A Rage Against the Machine song. And this one ends on row your boat.
Well, we can't all be the Matrix. Reloaded.
Come on! Dude, yeah, this movie, I don't know how long this movie is. I'm going to look it up right now, but I'm going to tell you that it feels much longer than that.
It does. It felt like an ordeal to get through. And not just because I was constantly grabbing my TV remote to turn the sound down when explosions happened.
It's 1 hour and 47 minutes, which is not very long.
That's it?
If this movie
It feels like
it's
2.5 hours.
It feels like 2.5 hours, yes. It's... dude. It came out in 70 millimeter, so
Well,
I'm gonna
that's
watch
good,
a
I guess.
70 millimeter version of Star Trek 5.
Dude, I don't want to watch the 1mm version of it. That doesn't even make any sense. It's such a bad movie, though, is the thing. Like, when somebody compared it to Nemesis, I had to think for a little while about which one I thought was worse.
I would say that Nemesis is much better than this movie. This movie is so bad.
Nemesis is like the exact opposite, where this movie's like a goofy cartoon caricature, and Nemesis is like a depressing ass fucking jaunt through human psychosis.
Nemesis, like, I think ages a little better because now you look back at it and you're like, oh, they knew this was the last one. Like, they knew, right?
Yeah.
They knew they weren't going to be making any more TNG movies.
This was almost the last fucking Star Trek anything ever.
Yeah, they weren't going to do 6. This movie is a giant smushed turd in between 2 deliciously toasted slices of bread. Like, the 2 movies after and before this movie are fucking phenomenal, and this movie sucks a fat dick.
I don't want to lay blame directly on William Shatner,
I'm fine with that.
but I'm gonna lay blame directly on William Shatner.
Yeah, I mean, if he hadn't written it, maybe we could say, like...
Well, here's the thing. Harv Bennett also wrote Search for Spock and The Voyage Home.
Yeah.
And I feel like he was the one who wrote those scenes with Cybok's mind control powers.
Yes.
Because they're far better than anything else in the movie.
They're really, really good, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you watch a movie and you can pick out who wrote what scenes, that's typically not a very good movie. Like Prometheus, you can pick out every scene that, what's his name wrote? Fucking Damon Lindelof. Like,
yeah.
You can just be like, oh, Damon Lindelof wrote this scene. Like, you can just tell immediately.
It's true.
Oh, there's a mention of Jesus? Oh, I guess Damon Lindelof wrote this part.
Jesus was a 9-foot-tall, pale, bald man.
Remember?
Nobody thought that this was strange enough to comment on or anything.
They just omitted that from the... 9-foot-tall, pale, bald man? He must be Jewish.
Yeah.
Like, what? What?
Fucking Illuminati did it, whatever.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
Damon Lindelof,
Well,
writing's finest writer.
That's fucking Assassin's Creed right there. Like, I played Assassin's Creed 3 recently. Mm-hmm. Don't, for one. And for two, that whole series is literally just, don't ask any questions. The Illuminati did it. Who cares?
Illuminati. The hand wave of the Illuminati. Hand wave. Don't look at it. Yeah, man.
This movie, man, it brings out the worst in everyone. Everybody gives their worst performance in this movie.
Everyone's pretty terrible in this. At some point. That's all right. We didn't talk about the Scotty hitting his head thing.
I mentioned it, but
yeah. Like, he's like, I know this ship like the back of my hand, and then he turns around and walks not 1, not 2, not 3 paces, a good like 6 paces, looking down, acting like he doesn't see this thing, and he hits his head on a beam, and he gets knocked fucking unconscious.
They wouldn't even do that type of gag in a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. That's like a fucking, like, oh my god, I can't even think of something bad enough that it would be in.
A much more subtle way to do that, like if you wanted a moment of levity there, is just have him say that line, and then have him turn around and almost hit his head. You know what I mean?
You could have had him hit his head, though. Like, just turn and
have him
not
hit his
even a
head.
single step. He just turns and moves the step and hits his head.
Hits his head. And he goes, ah! And then you cut there.
And then he, like, kind of, like, looks around a little bit, like, shiftily to make sure nobody saw it.
Maybe they didn't
continues
see him.
on.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have him fucking fall on the ground unconscious.
Yeah, he had to get taken to fucking sick bay. He was unconscious for half the movie.
Yeah, he gets, like, out of commission. He gets a Purple Heart for that, though. Or whatever the Federation version of Purple Heart is. The Christopher Pike Medal of Valor.
Yeah, the Christopher Pike Medal of Valor. Which they gave to a complete asshole Vulcan twice.
Now you know.
This is neither here nor there, but there's, for anybody who knows what I'm talking about, there's an episode of Deep Space Nine where there's just a team of Vulcan baseball players, for convenience sake, that play baseball against Sisko and his friends. And that cemented for me. There were, like, hints here and there throughout the series, but that cemented for me that the writers of Deep Space Nine fucking hated Vulcans.
There's a couple episodes where Vulcans are not good.
Yeah, they hate Vulcans' fucking guts.
There's a Vulcan serial killer on Deep Space Nine.
Yeah. How does that make any fucking sense? Anyway, Deep Space Nine's great. I love the series.
We'll get there, but
we'll get there one year.
Well, they had to have a Bad News Bears episode. So they were like, who's really good at baseball? Since nobody plays it anymore.
Who's really good at baseball? Vulcans.
They're great at it. Apparently. Just hitting home runs like all day.
We're trying as hard as we can to get away from this movie, subject-wise.
Well,
I think we've said everything there is to say about it. It's fucking terrible and I hate it.
I don't recommend it to anyone.
I I would recommend it if you are a fan of things that are terrible.
Mike Sadorf was telling me that him and his mom were watching the films in order, and they're up to 5. And they were like, and he was like, we're just gonna skip it. And I said no. I said no, Mike. You have to watch it because I had to watch it twice this week.
You have to watch it because you have to earn the right to watch the final movie.
Yes. If you're gonna watch 6, you might as well cleanse your palate with the dog shit of this movie.
I would recommend this movie for people who like bad things. So if you loved Star Trek Into Darkness,
This is up your
this
alley.
might be the film for you.
Yeah.
And if you were offended by that statement, suck a dick.
If you're offended by that, you're probably listening to the wrong podcast. Whoopsies.
So we're going to take a break,
Yes.
and then we'll come back and answer some email questions from you, the viewers.
Email.
Boo! We'll be right back.
Emergency channel open.
A hostile force has taken control of our vessel. Put us on a direct course with the Great Barrier.
Understood, Enterprise. We are dispatching a rescue ship immediately.
Clark!
Bird of prey bearing 105, Mark II.
Let me do something.
Mr. Sulu, full ahead.
Transfer power to warp drive. Warp speed now.
The greatest enterprise of all is adventure. Star Trek V, The Final Frontier.
And we're back with questions from the audience. You can send in those questions to mclassemail@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. Refer to a previous episode for why we don't have the actual name of the podcast.
Someone stole it.
Our first email is from Carl Schultz. I love his Peanuts comics. He says, "Hey guys, liking the podcast. It's cool."
Thank you.
Thank you. Question: what's something you think doesn't work about Star Trek, and how would you fix it? For example, I always thought the Ferengi were too cartoonish, and if the series had expanded their concept of profit to include things other than money, like knowledge, power, happiness, etc., they would have been more interesting as a species. That's a good point. You get a little bit of that though with the Ferengi who like is a bounty hunter.
Oh yeah,
and he like profits through like
killing.
Yeah, well, he profits through like he's like the most dangerous game hunter. He wants
a challenge.
Yeah, he wants a challenge.
Yeah, that's a. Yeah, in Deep Space Nine, I feel like the Ferengi evolve a lot, like literally, like
a lot
their
of
society.
them do stay very much like two-dimensional money grubbing.
Yeah, they're I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough question. That's a really good question.
That is a good question. It's really broad.
Yeah, I don't think I would change too much about it, because I mean, you have to remember that this is like a universe that's been around for like a really long time, and Star Trek is sort of like always evolving, or up until recently it was always evolving.
Yeah, well,
and I feel like a lot of the things that they change are for the better. Like they got rid of the whole galaxy thing, which is good because there needs to be like boundaries, right? Like there needs to be I don't know. I would like to see more. I'll tell you something I would like to see more of. How about that? I would like to see more of like how it works. Like how does Earth work now? Right?
Yeah, you don't really see a whole lot about what happens on Earth. You get stuff here and there.
Like they go there in the shows and they're like, "Oh, it's great here." But it's like, yeah, but like how does that work? Like show me what that's like.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even really understand fully if like money still exists or not.
I get it doesn't, right? And I mean
but they talk about Federation credits.
Yeah, I guess they need to trade with other people.
Yeah, but what is behind that, you know?
Right. So I guess they can't explain it really, because like if they could, they would have solved like all of our problems.
Yeah, no kidding. I want them to solve all of our fucking problems.
Yeah, that's what I really want. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would change too much because you can kind of like, I don't know. When we watch these movies, you kind of get to see it, right? Like you get to see how this show and these movies are evolving into what we would consider Star Trek.
Yeah.
Right. So
And we're
it's
taking
a
like a
process.
giant leap ahead by skipping over TOS to go to the movies first.
Yeah, well, that's not a big deal because dude, I think the second episode of TOS is called The Man Trap. Right? And it's like a planet where like everyone sees their perfect woman and it's like a Venus flytrap.
Yeah, but
the
right
60s.
after that, you get the Corbomite maneuver, though, which is a great
Yes.
fucking episode.
Yeah, that is a good one.
So it's hit or miss, and we're going back to TOS after this is over. So
Yeah.
if there's a concept that I think could have used some work, it's the fact that so much of Star Trek doesn't try to extrapolate what life is like in the future. They just make like weird little analogs to modern life,
Yeah.
to the point where like
It's kind of like mine. Where I think we're on the same page with that one.
yeah, it's sort of like how I started watching Voyager because I finished Deep Space Nine,
I did too. I
And-
started watching it again.
and at some point, like Tom Paris goes from being this like devil may care kind of like
Han Solo. He's a Han Solo.
criminal type of guy to just fucking loving the 20th century, specifically 1996, so much.
Yeah, he knows things about like our time that somebody 400 years from now probably wouldn't know.
Could you imagine how much of a giant fucking loser somebody would be if you talked to them and all they ever talked about was like the 1600s or
Yes,
whatever?
because they're called Renaissance Fair people. Sorry, everyone who loves. Sorry, Mel. I know you love the Renaissance Fair.
Dude, I'll go to the Renaissance Fair.
I fucking
today.
love the Renaissance Fair, but there are people who are really into certain periods and like, yeah, like it like that's really
It's like-
cool.
That was done specifically because they knew they could mention a bunch of 1996 pop culture shit and
Right.
get people to watch the show.
Right.
But that type of shit just does not fit in the setting whatsoever. And they do that all the time, where they just sneak these little references in and shit that just...
It would be more fun if he like got stuff wrong, kind of like Futurama does that all
Yeah.
the time, where they have a joke where like they go back to Roswell, like go back to 1947, right, New Mexico, and professor is like, "I'll take a shot of whatever and some Femaslim, please," or whatever, because he doesn't know what food is. Then.
Yeah.
because he wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, you went back to if
Tom
you went,
Paris would.
Oh yeah, Tom Paris definitely would. If you went back 1,000 years ago and you went to a fucking like inn and like you'd be like, I don't know what to order because like you wouldn't. What do you eat? Who knows? Bread?
Yeah, I'll take, you'd order too much. You'd be like, yeah, I'll take some bread, some cheese,
Yeah.
maybe some meat. And they're like, do you have, like, are you a king?
Yeah. Do you have gold? And then you show them your cell phone and they'd be like, oh my god, you're a future wizard.
You show them your cell phone, and they'd be like, I don't know what that is. Get the fuck out of my inn.
And it doesn't work here. What's your Wi-Fi password? Mead rules.
Look at this. Tetris still works on my phone. You don't got that shit then.
I got snake, bitch.
Josh is old.
I have a brick phone. I don't. But
No.
I love Snake. Snake was great.
Snake was great. Why don't we still have Snake on new
I guess
phones?
the answer to this email is more Snake in Star Trek.
Exactly. Why don't they play Snake in there all the time?
I'm sure Tom Paris does because he's
Yeah.
crazy. I always thought it was weird when he gets the TV and he puts it in the
Yeah.
like
And he like watches television shows on it. I'm like, how the fuck are you getting that?
it's like it's weird because it's like why would you right like
Yeah.
I don't watch TV too much now. Like I don't have a
either.
television that work like cable television, so being free of it is phenomenal.
Yeah, it'd be like, I don't even know, like buying a giant transistor radio that takes
Yeah.
up half your room.
Right. And then listening to it every
Yeah.
night.
So the answer to your question is giant transistor radio. Our next email is from Hoops. Harvey Rollins. Harvey says, "You guys have inspired me to rewatch TNG for the first time in years, and something's bugging me.
Okay.
They had evidence of intelligent life on a planet, and Picard declared to a Klingon, an android, and a half-betazoid that it was humanoid. Humanoid!
Yeah.
Surely Worf would have interrupted him to ask why they aren't Klingonoid, you old racist asshole. It's bugged me every time since then. So here's my question. Is Picard a product of a systematic alien racism, and is he perpetrating said racism?
Well,
It's just a term, man.
I would say, yeah, our human perspective and our language is built on our human perspective, right? I don't think a Klingon would get offended by that, or anyone would get offended by that.
It's actually like a fucking universal translator thing. It probably is a completely different word to
It
them.
probably translates it to something else to them, yeah.
Universal translator is the most perfect hand wave. You can use it for anything.
Dude, they do a great fucking job in Star Trek 6 with the universal translator.
Oh, yeah.
It's so cool. It's one of the coolest Star Trek things ever that they do.
I'm sure that when like Klingons say the word humanoid, because they do, like even amongst themselves, they say humanoid. It's in Klingon, it's a completely different word.
Yeah, whatever their version of that word is, right?
And don't pay any attention to Klingons just speaking Klingon and nothing coming out the translator.
I mean, essentially, it's like a weird way to think it's weird to think it's racist, since what that word means is bipedal and like bisection. Like, what is that called? Like when you're mirrored, your right side is mirrored to your left side, which is what we are. Like whatever that word is, like, and that's what humanoid means.
Yeah, and sapient.
Yeah. So, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
the answer is no.
I wouldn't really call it racism. Like Picard is the furthest you could get from being a racist.
Yeah, he's like the perfect human being. Like he's like the best human being that's ever lived.
He's the greatest. Our next question is from Melissa McPhee. Super fan Melissa McPhee.
Thank you for watching, listening, whatever you do.
Thank you for listening. Hey, Jeff and Josh. Before I ask my question, I just want to say thank you for making a Star Trek podcast, because I fucking love Star Trek and can't get enough content.
Sweet. You're welcome. Thank
Some
you for
would say
watching.
I have a problem and that you are enabling me, and they would be 100% correct.
I've never been one to shy away from enabling an addiction. So, you're welcome.
It's almost time for my heroin, by the way.
It is heroin o'clock.
It's always heroin o'clock. Anyway, I thought I'd ask vague questions in case you don't get around to my email for 5.
Okay.
If you could replace any Star Trek character from any of the series with the other dude from your podcast, who would you pick? In case that doesn't make sense, who would Jeff make Josh replace, and who would Josh make Jeff replace?
Okay, I think I get it. That made it more confusing. I thought I got it, but now I'm confused. You go first.
Oh my god. Yeah, I made it worse, but
like, who would I replace you with on Star Trek?
Yeah, who would you make me take the place of?
Right,
on
got
Star
it.
Trek.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
Geordi.
Geordi?
I would replace you. I would put you in Geordi's spot, because there's a lot of times when I think Geordi's kind of like a weak link in Star Trek. As much as I like Geordi.
I love Geordi.
I think you would be the best engineer.
I don't know shit about engineering, so that ship is blowing up the instant something goes wrong.
That's why it would be awesome. Because you'd be like, I don't know. You got that like smooth talking. You'd be like, look, Captain, I don't know.
I'd be like, look, Captain, this seems like it might be your problem.
I would also have you talk like Matthew McConaughey from Dazed and Confused half the time. Just for no reason. Well, look what we got here. A warp core breach.
Yeah. Best thing about high school warp cores is that they stay the same age and I keep getting older.
Done. Make the change.
I tell you what, I would replace Will Wheaton in everything he's ever done with you.
I I think that's good. I don't know how to take that.
Actually, no. Just in Star Trek. I would reply, because who knows what dumb shit he's done since then.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no Wesley Crusher. It would be Josh Crusher.
I would hope that I could stay on the show for longer, though. But I would hope that I would also be like more interesting of a character.
Exactly. I could imagine all like you wouldn't be like doing like dumb science experiments that fuck the ship up.
Yeah, I made nanobots and I fucking infected the ship.
They'd just be like, Picard's like, I'm gonna go to holodeck 3 and be Dixon Hill. Oh, holodeck 3's been in use for 873 straight hours.
I'd make Reg Barkley look like Charles Barkley.
I think Josh Crusher's been in there since then.
I do have red hair. I could be the daughter, or I could be the daughter. Whoops! Sex change confirmed.
Oh, that's a fucking Freudian slip right there.
I wish I could be the daughter of Beverly. You know what Beverly means? You know what the name Beverly means?
What's that?
A field of beavers. That's a real thing. So there you go.
I'm gonna look that up when this podcast is over and be severely disappointed if you're fucking with me.
I swear to God, that's what Beverly means.
A field of beavers. That's got some weird connotation for Beverly Crusher.
Yeah, she crushes beavers, man. Beaver Crusher.
That's the perfect last name for you.
Remember that episode when she was like, I crushed all those beeves?
That was my favorite episode. It really got into her character, explored her psyche.
We know that she tap dances and she crushes beavers.
Yeah, she said, if there's nothing wrong with me, there has to be wrong with this universe of beavers.
Of beavers. It's shrinking.
I guess that answers that question. Also, I recently rewatched the Star Trek special of The Weakest Link, and it was really good fuel for my Will Wheaton hatred. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
If you enjoy hating him, I would recommend it. Love, Melissa.
I wouldn't say I enjoy hating most people. I kind of don't enjoy hating people, but I probably couldn't handle watching that. I wouldn't want to.
I don't want to watch anything with Will Wheaton.
He's so terrible. Like, he's so terrible.
Dude,
he's so fucking terrible.
There's a show called Eureka. Did you ever watch that show?
Yes.
Will Wheaton is on that show as like an insufferable fucking cunt.
As himself?
Yeah, and I was wondering, like, is he just playing himself in this or what?
Will Wheaton is like the self-appointed fucking messiah of all things geek. Which, like, if that sentence doesn't give you, like, brain cancer, then, like, you probably already have brain cancer.
Yeah, I was looking forward to my life without brain cancer, and then you said that shit too.
Sorry, Jeff.
Thanks, Josh.
Well, guess I gotta spend more time on the holodeck. That's your make-a-wish.
Our next question is from Jared Rise.
Hi, Jared.
Raise? R-I-E-S? Raise?
R-I-E... Reese?
Reese?
Yeah.
Hey, guys. Great episode so far. Hey, he knows.
Sweet.
He knew it was a good episode we're making. We all know Star Trek V is full of some less than okay performances.
Yeah.
To me, the king of crap in this one was Shatner himself.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I just don't like Shatner. I know you guys have talked about how he's kind of a crappy person in real life, but what do you think of him purely as an actor? I wouldn't say Shatner is a crappy person in real life anymore. He's really learned how to laugh at himself.
Yeah, he's much older and wiser now. I know some stories about William Shatner that I can't say on the air.
He's been partying with Shatner.
I don't know him, but I know somebody who knew him at one point, and yeah, I don't think he's a bad actor. I think he comes from a time when acting was different. It was more theater driven, more stage play-y, and they kind of just translated that to television, because back when he was an actor on television was like pretty much brand new.
It'd been around for less than 10 years.
Yeah, it was like super new. So like they were just like, well, we'll just make sets and people will act on these sets. And a lot of acting that he does is set-based acting, where you're like interacting with the set, you know, and you're talking to yourself and you're doing these monologue-y type things.
Yeah.
I think he's great as Kirk.
Oh yeah, he's great as Kirk. You're right. Nobody else could have played Kirk.
Yeah.
You think about the guy who played Pike in the premiere episode, like the
pilot. Yeah.
I wouldn't watch a whole show with that guy.
Yeah, they were smart. They knew. They were like, get rid of him.
Yeah, the executives were like, we don't want him coming back.
Yeah, he's not good. Dude, fix it.
Like, Star Trek without Kirk wouldn't have gone anywhere.
Yeah.
As much as everybody loves Leonard Nimoy and Spock, he couldn't have, like, pulled the show himself.
Yeah, and Spock in the beginning was, like, not Spock.
No.
But
Especially in the episode with Pike, because Pike was, like, emotionless almost anyway.
Yeah, he sucked. He sucked.
So, Spock, like, Leonard Nimoy said, I couldn't play reserved with him. I had to play excitable.
Had to play up, yeah.
Yeah. And he didn't have to do that with Kirk, with Shatner's Kirk.
Yeah, because he held the stage on his own. Yeah, I don't
like. Regardless of how you feel about the new movies, like Chris Pine is no William Shatner.
Yeah, no, he pretends to be him sometimes. He pretends to be William Shatner.
He doesn't have the charm. Like when he does things that are like supposed to be charming, he comes off as like kind of dickish.
He looks right, because being charming is like really hard to do, and like I think Shatner again comes from a time when that was an art form. Like this is gonna sound like really terrible, but like people had a lot of practice being charming then. Now we kind of just are like, hey, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, people then were more focused on social cues.
Yeah, being, like, socially outgoing and, capable. It was a skill set.
Entertaining socially, yes.
Yeah, it was like a skill set, being sociable and charming. And nowadays it's not really seen that way.
Right, you don't really have to be that way now.
Which is great, because I'm super fucking not. And
I think you're more than you are. I think you're much more charming than you think you are.
Well, you're just trying to fuck me.
I mean, I'm wet as shit right now, so... I don't know. I didn't watch Boston Legal. I hear he's good on it. Mike likes it a lot. I hear a lot about it.
I've never met anybody who saw Boston Legal and didn't really like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's a bad actor. I think he's...
If you want, like, a good movie to see William Shatner's acting ability in, and how good he is as, like, a comedic actor...
Right.
Watch the movie Miss Congeniality.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he plays the judge, who is a washed-up TV actor.
Yeah.
And he's excellent in that movie.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
I think he just suffers from that. Everyone knows him. You know? Everyone knows who William Shatner is, so... And he was never really allowed to be
very
more.
Hammy and overacting, but that's not necessarily like a bad thing in some instances.
Yeah, he's not like Calculon from Futurama, where everyone's like, "Oh my god, I know that's who they like modeled Calculon after." Yeah, like that's totally who they modeled it after. But
and I think Shatner was a huge douche, but he's gotten better as he's gotten older.
Yeah, he's really
he's
good
also
at...
going insane. So
yeah, he's really old. Like he's really old.
Yeah, everyone you love is gonna die soon.
Let's see how old he is. I'm on the Harv Bennett IMDb. We don't care about him. He died already.
Who gives a shit? Nobody cares about him.
He was born in 1931, so he's 86.
Oh my god. No, Shatner, don't die.
No, he might be... Yeah, he's 86.
Well, our next email is... Our next email is from someone who signed it Matthias, but the email name is a completely different name.
Okay.
So, thank you for lying to us.
We're off to a good start on our relationship.
Hey, Josh. Hey, Jeff.
Hi.
First of all, let me thank you for giving the internet the podcast we've all been waiting for.
Is that sarcasm? I feel like it is.
Man, I hope it is. The internet shouldn't be waiting for this.
Right?
You've demanded questions for your upcoming episode, so here I go. Which Star Trek character would you wish to have with you on a classic away mission gone bad episode?
Data. Easy.
I.e. being stranded on an alien planet because the fucking shuttle's a piece of shit in any conditions other than the perfect vacuum of space. And why is it not Neelix?
Why is it not Neelix? Because Neelix is a kitchen rat.
I would like to... Wait a minute. Does the other person die on this away mission?
No, I think you just have to get out of...
Okay, then I'm not bringing Neelix.
Yeah.
I fucking hate Neelix.
He can't do anything.
I hate him so much.
He starts out as like a capable character on that show, and then quickly make him an idiot.
Yeah.
He's like a scavenger, and he's like kind of funny. Like he's kind of like goofy funny, but like not like a clown like he turns into.
He becomes this character that's just horrifically annoying, and that's supposed to be his charm?
Right. And it's like, nope. No. Not when we're stuck on a ship in the middle of nowhere.
I'm gonna have to go with Spock.
Yeah. We both went with our emotionless. That's interesting.
Yeah. I went with Spock, one, because he's exceptionally intelligent.
Yes.
And he's capable in a variety of different skill sets.
Right.
And two, because he's super fucking strong and resilient.
Yeah.
So he's like the min-maxed character.
Those are like my Data things. That's why I want Data.
Yeah.
Sometimes I daydream that Data's driving in the car with me, and I have to explain to him like what Guns N' Roses is. And I'm like, Data.
Josh has gone completely insane, everyone.
Well, gone.
Gone. Sometimes I daydream that Sonic the Hedgehog's running along beside the car on long trips. But he's Data.
This sounds awesome.
Dude, having Data along would be fucking awesome, though.
It would be great.
That's a good choice. I could go for Data, too.
It works in both ways. It works. It's the same. They're the same character. Like, let's face it.
Yeah, pretty much. They have a lot of similarities. It's just Spock wants to not be human and Data wants to be human. There's that whole scene in TNG where they discuss that.
Yeah.
Great scene, by the way. So, next, he also asks, what's your favorite holodeck setting? What kind of holonovel would you like to see her play in?
We kind of talked about this in the break. Not the shitty Irish place from...
from Voyager.
Fairhaven or whatever the fuck it's called from Voyager.
Yeah, not that.
Oh my god, what a waste of fucking holodeck space.
My favorite holodeck setting is Dixon Hill.
You like Dixon Hill?
I fucking love Dixon Hill. Dude, I'm a huge like mystery novel like
I didn't know that.
Noir like detective fan.
I did not know that.
Like my favorite writer is Raymond Chandler.
All right, that's cool. That's awesome.
Oh, that's why I want to be like if I was in Starfleet, I'd want to be like in security.
Yeah, you have to figure it. Yeah. Well, so you like Odo a lot then, because Odo likes that shit.
Odo's my absolute favorite character on Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, Odo's pretty great. My favorite holodeck scene would be when they make a hologram of Major Kira, but it has Quark's head, and that guy wants to fuck her. The hologram version.
Is that your real favorite holodeck setting?
No, I don't know. Like, look, all right, I'm not gonna fucking lie to you. Like, if there was real holodecks, like, people would just be having sex with like holograms.
Well, that's what people do at Quarks.
That's what Riker does too. There's that episode where Natasha, what's her name, Jean Grey from the X-Men, plays like this weird imprinted like mating character, and she like imprints on people and like knows exactly like what they want sexually. And Riker's like walking her around the ship, and he's like, "Okay, I have to go now. I can't fuck you." And then he's like, "I'll be in holodeck 3 for the next 2 hours."
Yeah, everybody uses the holodeck for that sometimes. It's fine.
Yeah.
And my whole question is like, where does the
jizz?
Where's the jizz go?
Hey, where does the jizz go?
Computer, where does the jizz go?
Maybe the hologram, since it's like just force fields and shit. Maybe the hologram does like its own version of the cleanup walk where they go into like some hologram version of a bathroom and they just vaporize it. You would have to vaporize that shit.
Yeah, you can't just like throw it in the waste bin.
Yeah, it needs to go away. Like,
especially not on the Enterprise. That shit's gonna mutate into a monster.
Yeah, Wesley Crusher's nanites are gonna turn it into some sort of jizz monster.
That's the last thing you want on your 5-year mission.
An exocomp is gonna touch it and start having baby exocomps.
Oh my god, like a fucking space spirit's gonna go into it and make a space baby.
I don't know what my favorite setting is. I don't know. Not maybe. God, this is tough. I don't know. Not the Western scene that Worf goes into.
Dude, I love that one too.
That's a great episode, though. That is a fucking
such a
great
good
episode. Alexander, that kid is adorable. The kid who plays Alexander, that
he
kid's
does a really good
adorable.
job.
He's like
unlike the
better
older Alexander.
No, the older Alexander is like, I'm an angsty teenager.
Yeah. Of course, Worf is like the worst father who's ever
terrible.
lived.
He's like super. He's a typical dad. He's really bad at being a dad. I don't know. Maybe Worf Skeletor fight. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I love it when he fights fucking Skeletor.
Maybe Vic. Maybe I'd go hang out with
Vic Fontaine.
With Vic Fontaine. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
I'll settle on that one, Vic Fontaine.
Dude, what about like the Battle of Normandy or like the protecting the Alamo? Like
Yeah, but we don't get to see those ever.
Yeah. That's because it costs way too much fucking money.
They didn't have enough money. Yeah. When they go to like
Brian Bashir holodeck.
Yeah, go with them.
You can't go. They won't let you. That's how that one fucking guy gets
how
murdered. Remember?
Ensign Dingus gets fucking shot in the heart.
Hope you guys have keep having fun with this podcast and bring new people into the space fold. Live long and prosper, Matthias.
Thank
P.S.
you.
Sorry for my shitty writing. I come from Germany and haven't spoken or written English in a while.
You write and speak better English than I do.
Yeah, dude, you didn't fuck up at all.
Yeah,
the whole email. Way to go.
That was perfect.
Native English speakers can't do that usually.
Yeah. Not
It's
in America.
weird to think that we have like German fans.
Yeah, it is weird.
Well, maybe I'm like being a little presumptuous by saying fans. German
fan.
listeners.
German one fan.
I don't even want to call him a fan. Who knows?
You're not ready to call him a fan? All right.
Like, he might just be like a casual listener for all I know.
That's like kind of splitting hairs, but
Yeah,
I'm with you. Don't.
That's all of our emails this time.
That's it. We had like 72 last time.
You made me pare these down, motherfucker.
How many more are there? I'm ready to go.
You want to do the other one we got?
Yeah, do another one.
All right. Let me find it. Oh, we have another one from Jared Rays.
Okay.
Jared.
Rays.
We got another one from Jared.
Okay.
Are the Borg all they're cracked up to be? My second favorite Star Trek film is unironically First Contact, but several people in my family hate the Borg. Thoughts?
I like the Borg a lot because they're the anti-Federation, right?
Absolutely.
I love that. I don't know, like at face value, they're kind of lame because you're like, oh, space zombies, right? And like, whatever. But I think
they work
like
a little better than that because of the whole like fear of technology taking us over.
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah.
It works on a different level than just like
that's true. Yeah,
regular zombies.
that's a good point.
I think the Borg are like a really excellent idea that worked amazingly in Next Gen.
Yeah,
The first time they showed up, and in like Best of Both Worlds and stuff. But I feel like they milked the shit out of them in other Star Trek stuff from then on.
Voyager's whole premise is basically like, when are the Borg showing up, right?
Yeah.
Like that's that show. When are they gonna get to the Borg? They do cool stuff with the Borg. I like the idea that like you can't beat them. Like that's awesome.
And there's also like a really excellent TNG episode with Hugh.
Hugh.
Yeah. That's a really great episode.
Yeah. I like Hugh. Hugh's good. They get into that more in Voyager, which I think is kind of neat. Like the only way to beat the Borg, only way to help defeat the Borg is to unplug the Borg and to use like what they know against them, which is kind of dark, you know.
You get into a little bit of that type of stuff in Voyager, a little bit of dark stuff.
Yeah. I like them a lot. I think out of all my Federation enemies, they're like probably the best one. They're really it's real easy to write a story about them.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about motivation for them because they have a driving motivation no matter what.
Right. And you can just make them do or say, like, you can just make them be whatever. Like,
They're like a
it could be
force of
anything.
nature more than anything, though.
Exactly.
You can't like, have the villain that you kind of feel for with them, though.
Yeah. No, there's no sympathy.
Although I guess there kind of is because they're, like, assimilated. They don't have a choice.
Yeah, but the queen sort of nullifies that, because the queen is a purely psychotic...
Yeah, well, the queen's a stupid fucking concept anyway that I don't like.
You don't like the queen?
I don't like the queen at all. Like,
Oh, no.
it's supposed to be a hive mind. Like, why do they need a queen? They're not ants.
Well, they're kind of insect-like, right? They use hexagons and stuff.
Only insects use hexagons. Insects putting up fucking stop signs, that's an octagon. Anyway.
Insects MMA fighting in a hexagon. There you go.
Fuck you, Josh. Anyway, I don't know if they're my favorite antagonist,
Yeah.
because I actually do really like Romulans a lot.
Romulans are cool.
And I really love the Cardassians, too.
Oh, man. The Cardassians are great to hate. That's for sure.
They're so fucking hateable.
They're super dicks. Oh, man.
This podcast is going to go on for like 6 years if we don't call it.
Yep, you're right.
We had another question from Jake Van Auker. That question will probably be answered as we go through talking about the original series and Next Gen. And it would take us an entire podcast to answer.
Oh my god.
So thanks for writing in. We might get to it another time.
We'll save it. We'll save it for
emails.
later.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you'd like to send us an email and get maybe read on the air, you can send that shit to mclassemail@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can follow us on Twitter at mclasspodcast. That one wasn't taken.
Do it. Follow us. Follow.
Yeah. And get your friends to listen.
Yeah.
Josh will get the Continue Show fans to listen one day.
If you listen, I'll suck your dick.
It's true, he will.
Or tits, whatever.
I've seen it.
Whatever you got going on.
I've done it. But, thank you all for listening to this podcast. Even if you didn't, we'd probably still do it. But it's nice that you care.
Thank you so much, seriously.
Yeah, it gives us a cool outlet to talk about something we love. And hopefully you guys love too.
We love it for now.
For now. We'll see when Discovery comes out.
Yeah. We'll see.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you, I don't want to say next week. It's not going to be then.
Couple weeks.
We'll see you soon.
It'll be soon.
We're going to try and do them maybe a little bit more often. I don't know. We'll see.
When we start doing the episodes, it's going to need to be.
Yeah. Put too much time between it. I don't know.
Every day.
Oh, God. I got a real job, Josh.
Oh, no. That makes one of us.
For now.
Bah, bah, bah.
Tune in next time to find out more. See you, everybody.
Bye.